Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Print All the Things. My name is Born. I'm going to be your host today. We're going to be talking about the last couple of weeks of 3D printing news and 3D printing stuff that I've been printing. And I was out last week. I was a little bit ill, but I'm back this week to talk about the latest and greatest in 3D printing. If you don't know what I am and what I do, I've been podcasting for many years and talking about tech, been talking about social media, websites, technology, video games and stuff. And I recently got into 3D printing a few years ago. And kind of blossomed from there. So I decided to develop this podcast because of my live stream. I always would say print all the things, and I tried to print everything I get my hands on, going back to the old meme of insert all the things. And here we are with Print All the Things, episode 19. We got back into the saddle. We had a big break for a while, but we're back with some more stuff. This week I didn't print a whole lot. Like I said, I was out of commission for some of last week, but we did get some things printed that I want to share with you all. But first, I want to share with you a couple of stories that happened in the 3D print universe. And first up, we're going to be talking about Bambulab. Bambulab introduced or pre-announced a new printer called the P1S. They say in this tweet, introducing the P1S, the latest addition to this incredible Bambulab P1 series, P1P, P1S. Stay tuned for all the exciting updates and let us know your expectations in the comments below. And they show a picture of it. And if you look at the picture very closely, which a lot of us have been doing, we've been staring at it with those Hollywood zoom in and enhance eyes. You see that this thing looks very similar to an X1C, but without the huge touchscreen interface. It has the P1P interface. So speculation, including myself, from the internet, has been, this looks like the X1C, kinda. Remember they had the X1C for a while and then they discontinued it. It's just the X1. This looks like the X1C, but at the same time, it looks like a P1P with an enclosure. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's an enclosure. And we don't know if it has LiDAR support or not, because that was like the delta between the P1P and the X1C. It was like no LiDAR, no enclosure. I think because it had the P1P screen, there were some features that were not there because the X1C, the X1 screen had a pretty good processor in it. So there was like some features tied to that. So this looks like it's going to be a hybrid between the P1P and the X1, but I think that's what the X1C was before. I may be messing up these numbers and letters, so you guys let me know what's going on with that. But let me know in the comments. But it looks like it's going to be a mid-tier printer, and for those of people that wanted the P1P but wanted it in an enclosure, I think it's gonna cater to those people. So we don't know the price, but some people who got some early review units are talking about it, and we're seeing some early pictures, and we'll see some reviews very soon, and we'll hopefully get some sort of a price update on it. We'll see people come out with their stuff when it happens. I don't know what to expect. I think it's going to be like an X1C, but I definitely want an X1. Like, I want an X1. I don't want this. I want the features that come with an X1. I got the P1P for a while, and I kind of wish I would have got an X1. But that's neither here or there. So we'll move on from there. All right, so that was some good news from Bamboo. So now let's move to some not so good news from Bamboo. Bambulab is back in the news with open source stuff. Here we go again. They've been called out again regarding OrcaSlicer. They came out with an updated version of Bambuslicer, which incorporated some features of OrcaSlicer. Came out a new public beta for Bamboo Studio 1.70, and they announced in it that it was going to have some features of OrcaSlicer, but it was only mentioned that they included the plate name and the third-party printer profile support was mentioned in the release notes. But the author, Soft Fever of OrcaSlicer, has come out to say, well, you mentioned only the plate names and the third-party printer profiles, but you actually merged all of my entire OrcaSlicer code base. So what does that mean? That means that they took all the OrcaSlicer code base and they merged the entire thing into Bamboo Studio. And that included a lot more features than what they mentioned there. And this is the thing that I think made Soft Fever a little bit upset, is that they merged the entire OrcaSlicer base without telling them, number one. And number two, it removed all of the author information of the things that he contributed. So again, Bamboo is walking the line with open source. They didn't violate any open source rules or anything here, but they could have at least told Soft Fever about it, and they could have at least mentioned that they pretty much took all the other features from OrcaSlicer, not just the ones that they mentioned. So I think this is one of those cases where Bamboo needs to be more proactive on how they approach open source. I don't think they know how to deal with it. They genuinely don't know how to deal with it, or they're just being malicious. And I like to think it's the former, that they just don't know how to deal with it. They need to hire someone who understands open source, and they need to hire someone who can properly approach, you know, these repositories and go through the right steps and follow the right etiquette and make sure that they're compliant and not be called out, you know, just not shoot from the hip and like, whoops, you just shot a lamb over there, you know, just do the things the right way, like most other people are doing, instead of just like taking all the stuff and say, well, we got it, and we'll just tell them that we got a couple features. So again, they're not looking good, because this is like, I don't know how many times this has happened. I want to say it's the third or fourth time that they've been called out on their open source stuff. And there's probably more stuff that they're not mentioning either. A lot of people are speculating that they got a lot more things that are open source hidden behind their proprietary shield. So Bamboo, this is one of the things that when you mention Bamboo to other 3D printer enthusiasts, you know, it's like this is the stain on their name right now. They're not very popular with the open source community, which did a lot of work to build up the 3D printer firmware and, you know, and the communities and everything. A lot of the heavy lifting has been done by open source software, which was done by volunteers. A lot of these people weren't even paid for this stuff, and Bamboo's profiting off a lot of their work. So at the minimum, they could do the right thing and give these people credit. So yeah, even Joel Telling went on record. He was like, it's getting more and more difficult to believe Bambulab has developed anything themselves. I hate saying this, but when this is the norm and not the exception, it's hard not to say this. That's a good assumption to make. It really is, because they're being called out a lot, and we don't like to see it. I mean, I like Bamboo. I like their printers. I like the experience they provide. I have my gripes with them. You know, I'm not afraid to share them, but I don't like to see anybody do this. I'm not choosing sides or anything. It's just, I don't like to see this, and I really want them to really step forward and do the right thing. So they did offer a response to this. You can see it here, that we appreciate Soft Fever's feedback and have updated the Bamboo GitHub to provide clearer resources for contributors. Thank you to all the contributors for their valuable assistance. Again, so it's an apology after the fact. They should be more proactive and not be called out multiple times. And I think the solution to that is to hire somebody who understands open source. I got the links to Twitter. I'll put them in the show notes. You guys can check them out. What do you guys think? You think Bamboo's in the wrong here? You think they're right? Let me know in the comments. And let's talk about what we printed this week, or the last couple weeks, actually. I finally got the HueForge software thanks to some contributors in my community. They helped me buy the license, the annual commercial license. HueForge is a software that allows you to make 3D printed portraits. And it's kind of weird when you say it out loud, but when you actually see the output, it's actually pretty cool. So the very first thing that I printed was, I want to start with something simple, something that was meaningful to me. And I decided to print my logo. So we have the Bambulab B logo. This is my new logo that I came out with last year. So it's my little swoosh B logo. And you can kind of see it on this one. You know, hopefully I'll get a close-up shot of this, but it has a light blue outline with a black background and a white B. I don't think I have any variant of this logo out anywhere. Everywhere my logo is like a blue B. So I want to make this one a little bit different. So this one, I believe, was a 150 by 150 millimeter. The default is like 300 by 300, but I printed this on my Prusa Mini kind of as a test, because I'm very good at doing color swapping. If you don't know how to do this, if you don't have like an AMS or an MMU multicolor unit, you have to color swap at certain intervals to basically generate this effect. So I'm very good at color swapping on the Mini. That's where I do it the most. The Mini and the MK3S. I'm not very good at color swapping on the Bamboo just yet, because I don't have AMS on it. I wish I did. I wish I did, but I don't. So here's my B logo. This was kind of the very first thing in the test print. The next thing that we printed on HueForge, this is going to be a lot of HueForge stuff this week, was this little guy. Aw, check him out. Like I said, hopefully I can get the focus right. This is our dog, Kent. He's a Shih Tzu. And this is a photo my wife took of him a while ago. This is her favorite photo of him. So she made me promise. She was like, I want that when your episode is over. I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna give this to her. She's probably gonna put it on her desk or something. But this is our dog, and we printed this one with, I think, white, black, gray, and I think I have a peanut. It's like a kind of a brownish color. So that's how I was able to get the brown shading in there. So I think the shading came out pretty good on this one. You may not be able to see it that well, but I did a decent job on the shading on here. And that's something that's like a lost art on, not lost art. It's like a skill you accumulate with the HueForge software. It's manipulating the layers and the colors to generate these blending effects to make it look just like the real thing, or like a carbon copy or a great derivative of some other photo. So I think I did a decent job here with Kent here, and you can see his little eyes and beady nose and stuff, him looking at the camera. Came out really, really nice. And again, that's 150 by 150 on the Prusa Mini. And finally, I got a Midjourney image from one of my community members, Jared Blaze. I don't have a Midjourney, it's an AI image generator. I don't have a membership over there, but he sent me this picture of, it's a circular picture of a controller. Let me see if I can hold this right. I don't want to break anything because it's a little bit thin in some areas. And it's like almost like a controller looking into the sunset or the city background. And it came out pretty good. I'm not completely happy with it. Like, this is one I want to iterate with. But I did have orange, white, black, and gray. I've been doing 4 color variants of these. And this one came out pretty good. It's a Midjourney image of a game controller with the city background with like the sun rising or setting, depending on your perspective. And I like it. I like it a lot. But I do want to play with the blending again on this one and play with the software because I'm a novice. I'm very much a novice with HueForge, but I plan to do a lot more with it. And not just with like my images, like my logo and my dog, but you know, we got the Midjourney AI stuff that we can be doing as well. And I'm going to be very careful with copyright. Let me tell you, your boy has learned a lot when it comes to like trademark and copyright stuff. So I'm going to do my best to stick with what I know and what I create. So this one came out good. I don't know what to call it. I guess I can just call it the image of the controller. There you go. So that's the other thing I printed. All right. So the very next thing was this filament change tool by Triple G Workshop on printables. And I'm trying not to knock over my water as I grab this. This is a filament change tool. Now, like I said, I've been on my Prusa Mini doing a lot of color changes when it comes to these HueForge things. One thing that the Mini does, and I think the MK3S does it as well, is that when you change color, after after it purges the filament and it gets the color right and everything, when you resume the print, it spits out a little bit more filament every time. It's just like a little bit more comes out. And if you don't pay attention to that, it could ruin your print or have like a little, like some sort of a color line on there. So this little guy right here is designed to, when you change colors, it's got different little pieces on it for scraping, for grabbing, for snagging, and for catching. When you change colors, when it spits out that little bit more, you can just slide this under there and just whoop. And I've already used it a few times. I don't know if you can see it, but a couple of these have like little burn marks from the nozzle. And I imagine I'm gonna go through a lot of these. This took no time at all to print. I think it was less than an hour. 60% infill, it's very sturdy. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of color changes. I don't know if the Bamboo does this. You guys can let me know in the comments. Does the Bamboo spit out a little bit more too? It probably doesn't, because Bamboo has this old purge thing and this poop chute and everything when it's done. But with the Mini and the MK3S, it spits out a little bit more, and it's kind of annoying. So you have to just like wipe it off and take it off and continue your print. So this was the other thing I print, was a filament change tool. This is on printables. I'll put the link in the show description. And for our final print, I'm gonna make sure I don't drop this. This one right here is from 3D Print Bunny. This is from 3D Print Bunny, and this is what she calls a spinning hot end desk toy. This is over on things.com. You can check it out. I'll put the link in the show description. And it is a nifty little 3D printer hot end that spins. And I did this one. All these are Polymaker filaments, by the way. This is Polymaker Easter. I call it Easter blue. This is in the Easter pack, and it's the blue that's in there. It's a pastel blue. And it just spins. It's a nice little desk toy. You just spin it. Little fidget spinner. All these other colors over here, I didn't mention them. There were Polylite, Orange, Poly I think it was a Polytera cotton white. And the gray on that third image, I ran out of Polytera, so I had to go to some Jesse PLA gunmetal gray. That's what that is on the other one, gunmetal gray. And I talked about the Kent filaments. That's what charcoal. That was Polymaker charcoal black. And we had Azure blue on the B logo and cotton white. So a lot of Polymaker filaments. I am sponsored by Polymaker. You can check out my affiliate link in the description if you want to support me and Polymaker. And get yourself some good filament. And the good news about HueForge is that HueForge has some good profiles for Polymaker filament. So if you're going to do some HueForge stuff in Polymaker, some HueForge stuff with Polymaker, you'll find that a lot of the filaments have already been calibrated in the software. So that's really nice. There's some tight integration. Also, there's still a limited time deal going on. If you buy HueForge, you'll get a coupon for Polymaker filament of the exact same price. So for example, I got the $30 HueForge, and I got a coupon for $30 worth of filament from Polymaker, so that was really cool. I think I got some, what did I buy with that? I think I just got some more charcoal black, because I'm going to need a lot of black for the HueForge stuff. But yeah, we're still going through the, you see me just sit here spinning this the whole time, just like I'm losing my mind, spinning this here, just spinning this the whole time. It's a nice little fun toy. I printed this on the Bamboo P1P. I don't remember the time. I think it was less than 2 hours, because I kind of set it and forget it, and then I came back and it was done. It did have some, I think 3D Print Bunny does say that you should put some supports on the build plate. So I just used some tree supports, and that took like 3 minutes to take them off. I think the ones that took the longest, there was like within the fins here, there were some tree supports that I had to get my flush cutters and like pull them out, but they came right off. So it wasn't that big a deal. So the support issue on this is really nice. I mean, it's really easy to deal with. So yeah, print this. You know, you can print in different colors too. If you want to get all spouted, like this picture here of 3D Print Bunny, she has, it looks like the Prusa look. It's got the orange and black going on here. I just printed all of mine in one color because I want to print all the things and move on to the next thing. But we got some, oh, don't break it, Juana. We got some more colors coming in from Polymaker on this weekend. I got an orange in. You already saw that on the HueForge. But we also got some other colors. We're going to be playing with some other colors from Polymaker that I've never used before. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they turn out. So that was all the things that I printed this week. And that concludes this episode of Print All the Things. Thanks so much for listening this far. If you got this far, you are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks so much for watching. Click that subscribe button. Click the like button too while you're at it. So I also want to thank my patrons at patreon.com/one of these guys are so awesome. These guys and gals right here, I thank you so much for being so awesome and helping me out, for making my content creation a little bit easier, because you take the load off of me paying bills and buying food and paying rent, and I can spend my entire days and nights, mind you, making content, whether it be 3D printing stuff, my gaming stuff, my live stream, my 3D printing shop, everything that I'm working on, my community that I run over on discord.gg/Buona. These guys help make it happen. Thank you so much to my patrons. Also, I want to thank you to I want to say thank you to I was going to say my Polymaker, to my sponsor, Polymaker. You can't make up new words. Polymaker is not a word. It's not a word. To my sponsor, Polymaker, for providing me for so much filament and for supporting my community. We have giveaways every week. Every week. If you join my Discord at discord.gg/Buona, we have a 3D printing section, and you can join that as well. But we have a giveaways channel where you can get some 3D printing filament. We just overhauled our Discord, so if you haven't been there, now's a good time to come by. We just overhauled it so that when you join, we have a proper onboarding process. I spent last weekend doing that. We have a proper onboarding process. It's like, hey, what do you like? Do you like Minecraft? Do you like 3D printing? Do you like anime? Do you like technology and gaming? You know, it asks you all these questions. You say yes, no, and it automatically shows you the channels that are relevant to you. It also does a clear job of presenting the rules of the Discord so people aren't confused. All right, this is Print All the Things, episode 19. I want to thank you so much for watching. Follow the YouTube, youtube.com/@BuonaLabs. Also, this is going to be on my Spotify channel, which I'll put in the show description if you want to listen to that. And also my other podcast called Game Chat with Buona. You guys have a good day. I'll see you next week. Take care.